I think I have a lot of thoughts right now, so I'm just gonna let them run, and then eventually I'm gonna have a topic to talk about, and then I'm gonna rant about it. Well, this morning I really wanted to rant, but then I was like, if I turn this video on, the universe is gonna like end up making me need to post that video, and it's like, I don't really think I should be posting rants onto my public YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like that's just a little bit problematic. Like people that know me in real life are kind of just gonna know more about my personal life automatically if they just watch a few of my videos, and it's like I kind of don't want that. You know, not so long ago, I was very against like being in the public eye in any sort of way. Like, sure, freshman year, I was like, oh, I want to be an Instagram influencer. Like, I wanted to be a fashion influencer. But then that was a phase, and it happened for like a month. But then after that, I was like, no, I actually don't want to do that at all. Like, imagine. I just started thinking of all the negative things. And so eventually I was like, no, I'll never be in the public eye. I don't want this. Like, eventually I turned my Instagram private. It kind of wasn't because of that. It was just for other reasons, but I'm very much like my Instagram is private, I'll keep things to myself type of person. But then now it's like I just posted a 20-minute rant about my self-isolation practices. So, you know what? That actually might be part of the self-isolation, just keeping things from people. So maybe this is actually good. I actually don't think so. I think that's my brain trying to rationalize it. I actually don't think it's good to post 20-minute rants. But at the same time, I think it's like, it's a for the greater good type of situation. Because it did end up helping a lot of people. Like, I read those comments and it's like, wow, I'm actually so glad I posted that. Like, I have no regrets whatsoever. There's like the downside of like, wow, people are really gonna know what I feel. But I'll get over it. Like, it's not that bad. Yesterday, this guy came up to me. He was like, oh, a little birdie told me that you have a YouTube channel. I'm like, what bird? What bird told you? Let's be serious, yeah? Like, what bird told you? I have told a few people. I've told a few trusted people. That's why I'm like, what bird told you? What do you mean? And it's like, I can't even imagine who told him. Actually, I have one suspect. No, I have like too many suspects. Actually, I'm gonna interrogate everybody. Who told him? Actually, it's not that bad. Cause all he said was like, oh, I heard you have a YouTube channel. I was like, you want the name? So it's like I can't even blame myself. It's like you fed into it though. So it's like you can't be that embarrassed about it. You know, like I'm thinking these things, but my actions just don't align. So it's like I trust my actions more than my words and my thoughts. If that makes sense. I actually think like that should be applicable, honestly, to a lot of things in life. Because sometimes your actions really show like what you truly feel and what you truly think. You know what I mean? Like you could tell yourself like, oh, I hate this person, but then like you continue to do things for them and you continue to care for them, and it's like, okay, but deep down you still care for them. Like mentally, logically, you might know like they're a bad person, I should hate them, but you actually don't. Like mentally, you still care for them. And I feel like it's better to just accept the fact that you care for them, because like your actions are telling you that, than just to not accept it and be confused and be like, why am I doing this? Why do I care for them? It's just like, you just do. It's fine. Accept it, and then you can move on. And if you don't want to care for them, I guess, because like, let's say they were a bad person, you're like, wow, I really can't be in this bad situation. And it's like, well, now that you've accepted that you still care about them, you can set boundaries for yourself. you can be like, okay, I know that I care about them, but I also know that I can't be doing these things for them. And I know that's like very much easier, easy said. It's easier said than done, 100%. But I feel like that's just such a common scenario as well, especially in relationships, you know? I really do like hanging out with people, actually, because it broadens my perspective towards everything. And when I hang out with people, I hang out with one person, and then I really listen to them. I really listen to like their situations, what's going on in their lives. And that's how in my videos I'm able to list so many examples, because I've just heard all these things from different people. Like everything that I say in my videos, I speak from experience, because I'm just like, I love listening to people. I love hearing their stories and their narratives so that I can like apply that to my life. And I think that's why for so long I also liked self-help books. And I already had a whole rant about that, where it was actually unproductive in the end, because like you get kind of used to the dopamine, the idea of being good. But anyways, also biographies, I feel like they're so interesting. And I feel like a common response to that is like, well, why don't you care about your own life? Why don't you look at your own life? Well, yeah, but that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my own life through the eyes of other people, through what other people have learned, you know what I mean? So it's like, when people tell me like what's going on in their lives, what's going on with their families, their relationships and things like that, I kind of put it in the files of my mind. And then I think, well, how could this be connected to other files? You know, and that's how I give advice. And that's how I recognize patterns, I guess. And I quite like that. I quite like that strategy. That strategy for thinking, strategy for learning from other people. That might be the title for today's video. Like I was yapping in the beginning. I don't know what happened, but then I just got on a roll. Remember that if you watch some of my older videos, I've mentioned before, I was not good at talking whatsoever. Just improvisationally, I don't think that's a word, improvisationally, like this, I was very bad at it. But a large part of that was because I was just so nervous about saying the wrong thing. And then I think after a while I realized saying the right thing perfectly all the time is just kind of weird. Like, I would be suspicious of somebody who just had the perfect words all of the time. Even if someone's just naturally charismatic, like, they still mess up sometimes, and that's what makes them human. So once I realized, like, not being perfect with my words, not having the biggest, greatest vocabulary ever, not describing things in the most perfect way is completely fine. And then that's how I got over it, and that's how I started to get better at speaking over time. You know, and I really admire people who seem naturally charismatic. Because, for example, my mom, like, she's so good at public speaking. She works in human resources as well. And, like, she had this party, right? And she just went up there and she just, like, said a motivational speech. And it was super good. Like, it wasn't scripted. She told me later, like, oh, I had a few things in my mind I wanted to say, like bullet points, but I didn't really script it. And then I just spoke from the heart. I was like, wow, but it sounded so good. I was like, how are you just making these sentences up in your mind? And I was at that point when I went to that party where I was just like not good at public speaking, not good at improv. And then I was just admiring her, because I was like, what? How do you do that? And that's why I created this channel, to like get better at public speaking and speaking my mind. And that's why like the beginning videos, the car videos, they're so everywhere, because I couldn't keep like one straight line of thought. But that's completely fine. At least I talked. Actually, in those beginning videos, like there were a lot of pauses. So I don't even know. But yeah. Anyways, going back to like learning from other people, I guess I also learned from my mom, because I learned that day that I wanted to get better at public speaking. And I was in a speech class at the time, but we had scripted our speeches. And I actually loved that class, because not only would I need to make a speech, but I would be listening to other people's speeches about their lives and their experiences. So then again, I would learn from those speeches. And that's honestly why I love the school system sometimes. Actually, I shouldn't say such a broad statement. That's honestly why I love school sometimes, because that class was just so beneficial and I loved it. Speech was just amazing. Everybody hated it, but I was like, you guys are haters. Because it was so nice to hear everybody's stories, everybody's different perspectives and things like that. And it's like, I don't think everybody's like this. I don't think everybody's so interested in stories. And I think that's actually why I love history so much. Because I can clearly see like how this applies to my life. I can clearly see how the Roaring 20s and then the eventual like crash of the stock market applies to my life and politics and things like that. Like, I can see how it applies to my life, but some people, like, their minds just don't work like that. They're like, why do I need to learn about George Washington 5 times? And it's like, well, the dude was pretty cool. And then if you go into more detail about him, like, he had a very interesting life, and he had such a charismatic personality that he basically just won the presidential election without trying. You know what I mean? Like, that was just a random example. But that's honestly why I love learning from people so much. I wonder if that's like, if I would consider that a passion. Maybe. I think it's just something I do. It's not really a passion. It's just like an inclination. I quite like that word. I don't think I have anything else to say. This was a nice little chat. I kind of loved this. But I also don't want to just like turn this off in the middle of the freeway. But yeah, if you're from like my last self-isolation video, which surprisingly got a lot of traction. I didn't think it was going to. I thought it was going to get 500 views, and I thought I was going to lose like 1,000 subscribers at least. But that didn't happen. Like, the opposite happened. So that's kind of crazy. But if you're from that video, you'll see I'm doing a lot better. This is how I usually am. I'm very hyper at times. Although I did just have my coffee, so that's probably why. The car videos, surprisingly, like, in my eyes, surprisingly, they get positive, like, they get positive attention. And it's like, I thought I was just saying random things, but then some people were like, wow, that's so right. And it's like, what, really? I was yapping. I don't know what's going on. Oh, but by the way, I'm like late to my class, so that's kind of funny. Anyway, right? Things are slowing down on the freeway. It's over. Song recommendation? I don't know. I'll put one in.